If you are really ready to quit smoking weed, these 3 steps will be easy for you. These 3 obvious steps is kind of a litmus test. If you're not willing to do these 3 things, you're probably going to continue to smoke weed. If you're willing to do these things and you're just done, then it'll probably be pretty routine for you to quit weed, and you can make some real growth in your life. So obviously this video is not for people who are huge weed proponents. I understand if it's working for you, this video is not for you. This video is for people who are really starting to face the consequences of their chronic weed use, and they're sick and tired of being sick and tired of the beatdown of smoking weed for years and knowing that they're not living the life that they want to live. So here we go. The first obvious thing to do is to throw all your weed and paraphernalia out. I know it's so obvious, but I'll tell you honestly, the last time I tried quitting weed, I had just went to the dispensary and I got this sativa called Willie Nelson, and it was incredibly strong. And I decided that I was gonna quit smoking weed, but I kept some of my Willie Nelson sativa, and I mean, what do you think happened? After about 4 days, I thought, I'm doing great. How about a little Willie Nelson? Do a little on the road again. I can't wait to get on the pipe again. And I went back to it, and the next thing you know, there it is, back daily. I know it's obvious. If you've struggled with quitting smoking weed, though, you'll understand that sometimes it's not the big things, it's the little things. If you really want to quit smoking weed, throw it all away. Get rid of it all of it, so it's not in the bandwidth. That's what I had to do. And when I was willing to do that, it was easy. It really was, to quit. The next obvious thing is to stop hanging out with people who smoke weed. This was a tough one for me. I struggled with this for years because everyone I knew smoked weed. Everyone I grew up with, I grew up smoking weed with them. I mean, that's how we bonded. That's how we had relationships. I didn't know how to have relationships without it. And there's a saying in recovery that if you hang out at a barbershop, you're gonna get a haircut. And I remember, being off weed for a little while and having this idea, well, I'm just gonna go hang out with Carl and just watch some TV, play some video games, just chat, because we're bros. Well, what do you think happened? Yeah, Carl was always holding. So obviously I was going over there, and I was completely incapable of being honest with myself. But again, it's so normalized in the 420 culture to smoke weed. And anybody that is not all in on what a wonderful addition weed is to the world, they're just going to get worked in that environment. So that's the second obvious thing. Don't hang around. If you really want to quit, stop hanging around people who smoke weed. The third thing, which really was challenging for me, but when I was finally absolutely ready, it was pretty easy. But the times that I was unsuccessful at quitting weed, I wouldn't walk through the discomfort of it. And the obvious thing to do is make friends with people who don't smoke weed. And I didn't know how to do that. And it was like going to a new school all the time. I just felt uncomfortable and not a part of. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I mean, it was it was embarrassing how little skills I had to develop relationships. But like I said, one thing that really helped me was to really be honest with myself. I know there's the exceptions, Joe Rogan, Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson, that the super proponents of weed that are mega successful and happy and sing the praises of weed. But when I honestly looked at the people who grew up like I did and who didn't change compared to the people who were really living the life they wanted to live, there was no even comparison. I mean, the weed smokers were comfortable not doing much with their life. It's just, that's what weed is great for. If you want to be comfortable not doing much with your life, then weed is just a wonderful thing because it makes it okay to not do much. And people who are doing stuff, and I know there's those exceptions, but the people who are really doing things in life generally aren't the weed smokers. I'm being general, okay? I know you got if you've watched this far and you're like anti what I'm saying, then why are you still watching? But yeah, so anyway, it's so clear. I mean, when I started hanging out with people who were living the lives that they really wanted to live, there's a Jim Rohn, an old motivational speaker. He had this quote. It's, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." And when I was hanging out with 5 stoners, I was an average stoner. And now the 5 people that I spend the most time with are positive people who are everyone always has work to do, but the level of living the life they want to live compared to the weed group it's incomparable. I mean, it's just so much more positive and uplifting. So anyway, that's what I got. I hope you found some value. Peace.